Hello, and welcome to Blast from the Past. I'm your host, Victor J. Lopez. In today's podcast, we delve into the elaborate world of Tokugawa Japan during the Edo period, which spanned from 1603 to 1868, and explore how the intricate systems of power and culture shaped its society. Based on the chapter Carriers of Culture from Tour of Duty by Greek historian Constantine Nomikos Vapori, we'll unpack how the sankin-kōtai system, the movement of samurai, and their role in spreading ideas, goods, and culture played a major part in transforming Japan. I'm joined by fellow academics of Japanese antiquity, Dennis Gonzalez Garcia and Caterina Toscano. Let's get into it. Now, before we dive into the details of the sankin-kōtai system, it's important to understand how this practice became a linchpin in cultural integration across Tokugawa Japan. The system required feudal lords, or daimyō, to alternate between their home provinces and the capital Edo, which led to the movement of not just people, but ideas, goods, and knowledge. In this exchange, the samurai played a pivotal role as intermediaries, helping influence the cultural flow throughout the country. Dennis, let's start with you. How did the sankin-kōtai system contribute to cultural integration in Tokugawa Japan? And what role did samurai play as intermediaries in transmitting knowledge, goods, and ideas between Edo and their home domains?
Well, great question, V. The sankin-kōtai system was one of the most important mechanisms of cultural exchange in Tokugawa, Japan. By making the daimyō travel regularly between their home domains and Edo, the system effectively created a network of continuous movement, making sure that not only the lords, but also their retainers, including samurai, were exposed to the cultural and economic influences of the capital. Most of the time, it was the samurais who served administrative roles with their domains, act as conduits for disseminations of knowledge and trends and all those practices back in the Edo, back from Edo to their provinces. So they were to grab the information and then move it to their land.
As we move forward, it's crucial to consider the journey itself, the long, often arduous trek to Edo, with stops in bustling castle towns and metropolises like Kyoto and Osaka. These urban centers were cultural hubs and windows into a different way of life. The exposure to these cities likely profoundly impacted their retainers, influencing their views on their own localities and their broader understanding of Japan. Dennis, let's hear your thoughts. In what ways did the journey of Edo, or to Edo, including exposure to castle towns and metropolises like Kyoto and Osaka, alter the retainers' perspectives of their localities and Japan as a whole?
Absolutely, V. The journey to Edo was not just a physical voyage, but also an intellectual and cultural awakening for many retainers. As they passed through many castle towns like Kyoto and Osaka, they saw new forms of entertainment, expression, invention, all that. That were often more spectacles than what they were mostly used in their home provinces. So things that they used at their land, but more innovating in others. These cities were more of centers of economic and artistic innovations. They also hosted kabuki theater and thriving markets. Speaking about kabuki theater, I taught my kids, because I'm an after school care leader, kabuki theater, and I thought that was really cool. I really liked it. Backtrack. For many samurais, especially those that were in remoted areas, this exposure led to a more broad and more grand worldview instead of their small town stuff. And yeah, they witnessed firsthand Japan's like power and like regions of how like all these different economic hubs were able to like have their own cultures, have their own way of life. And yeah.
Now, Dennis, as I understand it, the role of the daimyo as patrons of the arts during their time in Edo cannot be overstated. Their influence helped form the cultural fabric of the capital, turning it into a vibrant nexus for artistic expression. But beyond the immediate cultural explosion, the question remains, how did this aristocratic patronage leave a lasting mark on Japanese cultural history? Dennis, take us there. How did the daimyo's role as patrons of the arts during their time in Edo transform the castle town into a cultural network, and what lasting impact did this aristocratic patronage have on Japanese cultural history?
The daimyo played like a huge role in like making Edo as like a cultural powerhouse. They enforced residency in the capital not only to like increase demand for luxury goods, performances, and art, but also to like directly influence like artistic like innovations. They commissioned many like grand agriculture projects, traditionally no performances, and like exotic tea ceremonies. This had a long-lasting effect in Japan's cultural history. Like, for instance, the Edo period, I'm probably going to butcher it, I'm going to try my best, the ukiyo-e wooden block prints, later influenced Western imperialists, and they were like introduced to the like mostly, and so most of the artistic styles and traditions that were refined in Edo as like haiku poetry, and like kimoto designs, tackled down to like provinces throughout the returning retainers and merchants, so they were able to spread that more often. And the influence of Edo's artistic like views started to bloom, and you can still see it today in Japan's like authenticities. So like, you know, people still wearing kimonos, haikus, and all that. And like, you see it mostly in like modern fashion and agriculture and media. And yeah, that was it. Get ready. I'm gonna send you this recording now.
Now let's shift our focus to the material culture that was transported back to the domains. Whether it was books, calligraphy, or imported goods, these items carried with them not only tangible value but also cultural significance. They were integral in shaping local customs and creating a shared cultural identity across the diverse domains of Japan. Katarina, let's turn to you. How did the material culture transported back to the domains, such as books, calligraphies, and imported goods, affect local culture and create a shared cultural identity across domains?
During this period, material culture like books, calligraphy, and imported goods helped shape a shared culture identity across Japan. The spread of printed books, especially Confucian texts, standardized knowledge and reinforced values Japan already had, like loyalty and morals. This promoted a sense of cultural unity. Calligraphy, which was highly valued at the time, gave them a newfound appreciation for education, and among that, aesthetics as well. This became the common form in the ruling class. Imported goods usually came from Europe or China, like textiles or scientific instruments. This then helped expand majority of the local crafts and other technology.
Finally, let's explore the intellectual and technological impact of the Edo experience. With the evident influence on Confucian scholars, artists, and doctors, the question arises, to what extent did the system itself serve as an engine for innovation, driving advancements in various fields across Tokugawa Japan? Katarina, over to you. Given the evident influence of the Edo experience on Confucian scholars, artists, and doctors? To what extent did this system act as an engine for intellectual and technological innovation in Tokugawa Japan?
During this period, material culture like books, calligraphy, and imported goods helped shape a shared culture identity across Japan. The spread of printed books, especially Confucian texts, standardized knowledge and reinforced values Japan already had, like loyalty and morals. This promoted a sense of cultural unity. Calligraphy, which was highly valued at the time, gave them a newfound appreciation for education, and among that, aesthetics as well. This became the common form in the ruling class. Imported goods usually came from Europe or China, like textiles or scientific instruments. This then helped expand majority of the local crafts and other technology.
As we wrap up today's discussion on carriers of culture in Edo Japan, it's clear that the intricate systems of cultural exchange, whether through the sankin-kōtai system, the patronage of the arts, or the material culture transported across domains, played a pivotal role in shaping the nation's rich cultural landscape. From the samurai as intermediaries of knowledge to the lasting impact of the daimyō artistic influence, we've certainly uncovered the layers of history that have forged Japan's identity. It's been an absolute pleasure to demystify this hegemonic history, culture, and infrastructure of Tokugawa Japan with both of my brilliant guests, Dennis Gonzalez Garcia and Katerina Toscano. Again, I'm Victor J. Lopez, and this is Blast from the Past, where history is no mystery. See you next time.